Hello everybody, it's Adelaja here. Well, I'm continuing the series that I've been doing over some weeks now. It's called Understanding Suicide, Mass Shooting, and Depression. But today I will be talking about something that is much more emotionally connected and much more sensitive. I'll be talking on hallucination, depression, suicide, and mass shooting. But the emphasis will be on hallucination because this is a form of depression that many people don't know and they don't talk about. Unfortunately, if depression is not tackled on time, it could lead to hallucination, it could lead to schizophrenia, it could lead to, before it goes to suicide and mass shooting. We know that often, and we have made the point in this series, that depression will often lead to suicide and mass shooting, but before it gets to mass shooting and before it gets to suicide, it often goes through the stage of schizophrenia, or it goes through the stage of hallucination. So what is hallucination? Well, hallucination is the tendency to perceive that something is happening, whereas nothing is happening. So it is perception in the absence of stimulus. Perception, you are perceiving something, you are feeling that something is happening, whereas nothing is happening in the real sense. So for example, you could feel that you are hearing voices, but in the real sense, nobody is talking. That is hallucination. But a lot of people do think that hallucination is only connected to hearing voices. That's what I myself used to think for a long period of time, until I met a lady that came to see me here from the UK. I will not mention the name, but she believed that she was having some attacks and that she needed me to pray for her. And her problem was that she felt that something was touching her or crawling in her body, or something is walking through her body. That something is walking through her body, something is walking in her body when nothing is walking there in the real sense. But she feels it. She feels that something is touching her, something is walking through her body. And, but in Africa, people always, especially in churches, people always say, oh, it's demons, it is Satan. And she too bought into that, thinking that this is some spirit, is some evil spirit, from relatives, and she knows who is responsible, all that. So we started to pray about it and also study about it. So I decided to make some research. When I made the research, that was when I got the shock of my life that this is hallucination, and that hallucination takes different forms. Hallucination could be in forms of something walking through your body, or something like a disease, or like an insect crawling through your body. Is hallucination. It's part of mental disorder. It's not that the person is mad or anything, but it is schizophrenia. It is a form of schizophrenia. It's a form of hallucination. And when I tried to explain this to the lady, she couldn't believe it. I didn't know that she had been to the doctors in the UK and they have told her the same thing, that this is hallucination. But she was just saying, no, it is spiritual, it is spiritual. So under the pretense of spiritual, a lot of things happen in the churches that people are sick. People in churches are really sick. And we don't really understand that, and we're treating them as if they are some spiritual attacks or something like that. A lot of the deliverances in African churches are a waste of time. There is no need of doing deliverance when people are just sick. People just need treatment. And people know about these diseases in medicine long time. And so, let me say that again. Hallucination or schizophrenia is when you begin to perceive something without any stimulus. When you begin to hear, or when you begin to perceive that something is happening, you begin to feel something is happening, you begin to hear or see something happening when nothing really is happening. So no stimulus, but there is perception. So for example, if nobody is touching you, no disease and no insect is crawling through your body, and you feel that they are really touching you, and that is schizophrenia right there. It is not the schizophrenia that is auditory. It is not the schizophrenia that is, you hear the voice, but it is still hallucination. it is still hallucination of a different kind. Now, like I said, when you think there is perception, you are feeling the perception. You are saying, okay, but for example, perception without stimulus, you could be seeing some people or some spirits or some things, but nobody else is seeing them. Well, that most of the time, that is also a form of hallucination. It is hallucinating that you are seeing something that nobody else is seeing. It's hallucination. Or you are hearing voice that nobody else is hearing. It's hallucination. Now, we know that we are spiritual people. Sometimes we could see vision, but vision will only come and go. Vision is only momentary. But when this is constant and permanent and all the time, different times of the day, that is not vision anymore. That is not revelation anymore. That is not spiritual anymore. That is already hallucination. That is already schizophrenia. You need to go to treatment, for treatment. Now, it is not just things crawling through your body or you hearing voice. You can see things, like I just said now, or you could feel that there's something is smelling, whereas there is nothing smelling. Nobody is smelling it, but you are feeling the smell. So, but sometimes, of course, hallucination could give you good, it could be a good smell. If it is good smell, good for you. But sometimes it is bad smell. Then that also needs to, you need to take care of it. Or, for example, a taste. It could be a taste. It's any kind of perception that nobody else is feeling. Nothing is really happening, but you are feeling it. Like, for example, you are feeling a taste in your mouth. That's, but you didn't put anything in the mouth. Nothing is there. It's a kind of hallucination. So that hallucination is what, these are the kind of things that we need, why I needed to talk about this. So in the cases of depression, when people don't take it serious, when people are not, I think I will still talk about that. Let me first of all talk about hallucination. Then I will tell you how it's connected to depression and to suicide and mass shooting. So, but of course, hallucination could also come when people take drugs or people have psychoactive reaction to drugs, or people have some nervous damage, or people are depressed, or people have schizophrenia. So all those kind of hallucination could take place. So hallucination is when you are feeling something, or you are tasting something, or you are seeing something, or hearing something, whereby the thing is not there. Of course, people who take drugs or alcohol, like I said, or in depression, dementia, bereavement, they could develop hallucination. Even fever could lead to people developing hallucination. So now let me talk about, before that. So hallucination refers to when a person sees something that doesn't exist. Nobody else is saying it, but you are seeing it. And it's not a vision or that just for some seconds and it's revelation or something, but it is constantly, you are always seeing something. That's a problem right there. That is hallucination. Hallucination is when you are smelling something. Nobody is cooking anything, but you are smelling it. Nobody else can smell it, but you are smelling it. And there is no facts that anybody is smelling anything. That is hallucination. Then you are hearing something, voices or something, only you is hearing it. That is hallucination. You are feeling something, nobody else is feeling it, and there are no proof that there is something that is making you to feel that. That is hallucination. You are tasting something that you didn't eat anything. Nobody is even giving you anything in your mouth. Nothing is in your mouth. That is hallucination. So hallucination is connected to schizophrenia. It could also be because of bipolar disorder. It could be because of dementia. It could be because of alcohol or drugs. Or because of some tragedy in life, bereavement, or, some shock and things like that. Okay, so, of course, the most common part of hallucination is always when people hear voices or see some things. But there are different levels of stages of hallucination, and that's why we want to go back to depression. So depression could lead to, and this is what we're talking about, when people are depressed, they feel dejected and they feel anxiety. They become, they feel a big sense of anxiety. loneliness, they lose interest to life, they feel some form of guilt, and they just feel condemned and disinterested, hopeless. So at this stage, even though they are not hearing voices and they are not hallucinating, they are not hearing voices, they are not seeing anything, but that is already a precondition. It's called stage one that could, make them to be susceptible. Because when you isolate yourself, when you are not interested, when you are withdrawn, then you are left alone with your thoughts. And because you are left alone with your thoughts, some thoughts maybe could be telling you that you are not good enough or everybody is bad. Those thoughts could be repetitive thoughts. And those thoughts that are repetitive and always coming, sometimes if you are not careful, you begin to, own them. Even you begin to think that they are your own thoughts. Well, that could be the early stage of, it is depression at this stage, but it could also, if it's not treated at this stage, this is still depression stage, but if it's not treated, it could go to the next stage. What is the next stage of this being alone with your thoughts and embracing all these thoughts? You could still control it. On the stage of depression, yes, you could still control it. You are still in charge, only you care less. But if it persists that you keep on being alone, you are alone with your thoughts or different thoughts that are coming, repetitive thoughts, that could get into the stage of condemnation stage. Condemnation stage, when those thoughts are condemning you, they're saying you are bad or other people are bad, and then you begin to listen to those thoughts and you don't take other people's opinion. It is only your opinion. You are the only one who is right. You are being friendly with your thoughts alone. And then, you are rejected, you are distressed, and you are embracing these thoughts. And because you are embracing these thoughts, those thoughts begin to come as hallucination. They begin to call. You now begin to realize that it is not your voice, but you'll be thinking that it's the voice of your friend or God or somebody that's close to you, your mother who is dead or your brother, or that voice begin to appear to you as if it is something that is closest to you. So you don't have friends anywhere. This is now your friend. This is now your life. Nobody understands you. Only this voice understands you. And now that is when we start beginning to the stage of hallucination. So hallucination can begin like that within you, and it's only you that is experiencing that. And because you are hearing these voices, or you are seeing these pictures, or you are feeling this thing that nobody else is feeling, you can begin to feel that, okay, you don't want anybody to suspect that you are talking to somebody, or you are seeing something, or you are feeling something nobody else is feeling. So it could lead to social isolation. Then you begin to isolate yourself from people. You don't want them to see you, you don't want to relate to them, you don't want them to suspect you. And that is when this also could make it even worse, because you become a victim of that thing, because you are alone now, one-on-one with those hallucinating thoughts and schizophrenic tendencies. But then the third stage, of course, is the most dangerous stage, because there are different kind of hallucinating voices, right? So some of them are complementary. People like it at that stage. So that's stage one or stage two. So you are with your thoughts and you are saying you are the only one that is good, you are the only one that is, especially stage one. It could only be commenting on what is happening in your life. So that's stage one, you might not even feel anything. But stage two could be when it's now condemning you, when it's now saying negative things, not just about other people, but about you. But the worst stage of schizophrenia and hallucination is when it now begins to command you. That is when it's dangerous now. That's when it has to be controlled. When it's commanding you to go and jump or to go, and that's why it leads to suicide. It commands people to go and jump, go and kill yourself, go and drink this, or go and kill other people. That is when it becomes very violent. So that's why people become, that's how it's connected. Depression is connected to suicide, and that's where it is connected to mass shooting. Unfortunately, when these kind of things happen and people begin to notice that you hear voices or you feel some other manifestation of hallucination, in churches, people don't make things go better. They begin to tell you it's the Holy Spirit, or it is it's Satan, it is evil spirit, and they begin to cast the devil out of. But these are medical conditions. It's not about devil. It's not about. Most of the time, it is just medical condition. Yes, there are situations when people are demon possessed and they could hear voices like that. But what we are talking about, hallucination, is mostly biological thing. It's mostly sickness. Schizophrenia is a sickness. It's not demon right now. When it is demon, it is much more easier to deal with. But when it is biological, you need medical attention. Because demons you can cast out, but this hallucination and schizophrenia you cannot cast out. You can only treat and heal. Okay, so I still want to talk about the types, the different kinds of hallucination that people have apart from voice. Because schizophrenia is what people are more familiar with, which is hearing of voices. But apart from hearing voices, there are other forms of hallucination that are possible, that people have and are struggling with on a daily basis, and they are thinking it is demon that is troubling them. I think we'll talk about that next class. Blessings. But before I stop, I think I should talk to you about my mentorship program, which is going to sundaydelajablog.com and sundaydelajablog.com/mentorship. You could join for free. And if you want to go with us to Nigeria, you could also go to sundaydelajablog.com/Nigeria. To get my books, you could go to Amazon or read them for free on Amazon, on Kindle Unlimited. And you could also go to dsabooksplanet.com. That's if you are in Africa. And or you could write to our office, dsasbooks@gmail.com. And the book I recommend to you today is called Your Greatness is Proportional to Your Trials, Crisis, and Tribulation. And, go and read it. It's going to really give you a lot of support. We will see you tomorrow. Peace.